One peak wheel here. This is a 2003 Mazda Protege5. We're going to be doing the inner and outer tie rods. I know the outer ones are bad. I'm not sure about the inner ones, so I'm just going to go ahead and do them. So how do you know if a tie rod is bad? You may hear some clunking or vibration, feel some vibration when you're driving, but best way is get it up on jack stands and grab on either end, and you can, it should not shake at all like that. This isn't the turning. If I turn it, and then usually the the top and bottom will not shake at all, or have very little bit, but that's pretty bad. So this is the inner tie rod here. Starts here, that's the locking bolt, and this whole thing right here is the outer tie rod. This is the outer tie rod. So another clue that you got bad ones is a torn boot here. That tears, and then dirt gets in there, grinds things up, and it's no longer holding tight. The whole tie rod goes all the way back here to the inner, and I'm hoping that I'm going to try to take the whole thing off, both the inner and outer, without having to do this bolt, without having to actually take off the outer one first, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, I got one side out. I still have the other side to do. It was not really all that easy. So this is the outer and this is the inner tie rod. They're separated here by a lock nut. It looks like it's one piece, but this is actually a separate lock nut. So this sits in here. This is called a castle nut because it looks like a castle with a cotter pin. So what you got to do is pull the cotter pin out, take the castle nut off, and then you use this special, this is called probably outer tie rod tool, but that's what it looks like, and you jam it in here, and it sits on there, and it sits in here like this, and then you screw this in, and it pops. It'll push this as you screw it in. It pushes this, pops it up. So otherwise you got to use a hammer, and that's really tough to do, is my understanding. So get yourself one of these, save yourself some time. And then the other tool for this screws into the car. So you have to then take this off the boot, and then you got to reach in and twist this, pull it back to get to this thing. This then you can fit on here, and you can use a socket to break it off. So I had trouble reaching in and getting this, untwisting it. I was hoping that it was, because you can't see it all, I was hoping that the person twisted it clockwise, and I'm going to untwist it counterclockwise because you can't tell at all. The other thing I had trouble was getting this on here. Oh, this thing sits on here like so. Actually, it's probably, yeah, it's like this. And these tabs are all bent this way, so you have to get underneath here and push them out before you can actually unscrew this. And to do that, I couldn't get a screwdriver underneath there because my screwdriver, the angle just wasn't good enough to get it. So I used this with a ball peen hammer and banged them out, and then I could attach this on here and you get your socket in here, and you can twist it like that around. Now the difficulty I had was getting this on here straight and tight, so I needed a deep socket with a stubby ratcheting wrench, and it was 14 millimeters to get it. It had to be on straight and tight. I couldn't get it off with a impact. I had to use a very large extender bar, and then I could get it off. But it was a bit of a bear. So I'll film me doing it on the other side, and we'll see how the other side goes. Okay, so some of the tools we used here: the outer tie rod separator, the inner tie rod wrench tool. I had a 18-inch and this is a 19-inch for my impact, an extension, a breaker bar, 14, 17, 22. This is for the outer tie rod, that locking bolt. You'll need that. A hammer, torque wrench, extra long breaker bar, and that should do you. I had to get an adapter for my impact wrench. Now you will have to get an alignment after doing this job, but this will help you be able to at least drive to where the alignment, you're getting the alignment. So this is the old one on the left side, and what you need to do is measure, because this is threaded here, so you're going to want to measure, you want to keep it the same length, and that'll hopefully, and you want to measure from here to the center of this, because your knuckle may be larger. So fortunately I've got a nipple, so that makes it easy on my old one, and it's right at 14.5 inches. So I'm going to screw my new outer tie rod in so that we get a total of 14.5 inches. Okay, so what I've done here is I've measured from here to the center, and then I've put everything on, and I've got a little bit of space here. So actually when I screwed all the way to the lock nut, that was the correct ring, and then correct measurement. And then I put, I don't know if you can see it, but I put some tape right on there, so that is my marker. I think that'll be easier for me to deal with rather than just marking it, because it's going to be tough to see, but that way it keeps that locking nut right where I want it, and then screw it in, and boom, we've got the right length. So this is on the left side, and I've screwed the inner tie rod in, and here is the locking washer, and the tips have to be bent, are supposed to be bent in this way, but there's no room to get behind there and push it back. I think I can get one from underneath. This is from underneath on the left-hand side. So I'm hoping that I can put a screwdriver here, like that, and bang this in a little bit. But I don't think I can get to any of the other ones, unfortunately, so I might have to do just one. Now, another option is this bottom brace right here. So this bottom brace, you could take that out, but it's not, I don't think it's going to give you much more room to get to the top ones to push them in, so I'm probably not going to bother. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so another difficulty I had on the left side was, this is the new boot, this is the old boot. So this part here has to go over a little lip, and then you put the wire on there to hold it on. Well, the problem is it's really difficult to get that over the lip when it's that small. But this side, this one's better because you can at least get it, part of it pushed over, and then just kind of keep screwing it over, screwing it to get it, keep turning it to get it on there. It was still difficult just with this one. So I reused my old boot on the other side. It's not torn, there's no holes. I'm going to do the same thing on this right side. Okay, so I did end up using a zip tie on that inner boot, the inner connector, instead of the wire. I just couldn't get the wire on there. It's going to be more difficult for the next person to get it off, but it's on and it's tight. I also was only able to get one tab again on the right side for that locking washer. Hopefully that's okay. Let's see. Don't forget to tighten this bolt after you get everything in. So basically, get this in, get the inner tie rod in, and then get your boot on, and then put this on to up to the tape, and then screw your outer tie rod on. And then you want to get the castle nut, push it, you got to push it down into here. On the left side I had to use a jack to jack up this so that it would get through here. What you want to make sure is when this gets down in here, it's centered. That will help it last longer. So this castle nut you want to screw on. I think it's 27 to 32 foot-pounds. The issue is that you've got to get the cotter pin in first, and also afterwards, it has to go through one of these little holes, so you know I tighten it to 32, and then one of the castles is covering the hole, so I tightened it a little bit more than that, and then got the cotter pin through. And don't forget to put your, if you got nipples on there, put your nipples on to so you can put more grease in as it goes. And that's it.